Fight week is here and UFC 295 is this Saturday. I'm going to make my predictions for the main card, but before I do, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe as we have brand new videos every single week. So first, let's talk about UFC 295 and the state of this card. To be honest, it's a little lackluster. Originally, it had Jon Jones versus Stipe as the main event. This was a high-profile, big-name fight, and it felt as though the card was relying too heavily on that. Of course, we had Jiri versus Alex in the co-main, which has potential to be fight of the year, but outside of those two fights, it wasn't an overly interesting card. Now we've had a bit of a rejig. Jon Jones is out and we have Pavlovich versus Aspinall, which on paper is a much better fight, but we're still lacking those big names and big stars on a pay-per-view. You know it's a poor card when one of the biggest names is Jared Gordon, and he's not even on the main card, he's on the prelims. For me, a pay-per-view, at least on the main card, has to be stacked from the top to the bottom. So let's start at the top. In the main event, we have Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira for the vacant light heavyweight belt. This is going to be an all-out war. I have high hopes for this fight, and I'm genuinely expecting it to be fight of the year. It feels almost impossible to make a prediction for this fight. Both are incredible fighters, both are incredibly dangerous, and both have the potential to finish this at any point. But gun to my head, I'm gonna pick Jiri by third round KO, and if you want me to be super specific, by flying knee. Alex has a problem of overcommitting to combos when he gets his opponent hurt. I think he will catch Jiri, I think he will hurt him, and I think that's when he'll put himself in the most danger. And while he's throwing a big flurry of strikes, trying to get Jiri out of there, but Jiri is going to throw something wild and unpredictable, catch him and flatline him. Though, like I've said, this is a tricky fight to predict. Alex should not be underestimated. He's always dangerous. That left hook of his is an unstoppable force, and Jiri does get caught often, but he's only been stopped once in his career. While on the topic of unstoppable forces, we have Sergei Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall for the interim heavyweight title. This is going to be a hell of a fight, and I think it's a massive upgrade, literally, of Stipe versus Jones. Not in name value necessarily, but in the fight alone. This is two of the best heavyweights on the planet going at it, and I cannot wait. I do think, though, that it's a shame that this is for the interim belt and not for the vacant heavyweight title. This is going to be a disaster and slow the division right down, especially with Jon Jones out for at least a year. Jon Jones should have followed Hill and Jiri's lead and vacated the belt. But enough of the heavyweight drama, let's talk about the fights. Just like the main event, this is almost impossible to make a prediction. That's just the way it goes with heavyweight. One blink of an eye and it's all over. One day you're the #1 contender, chomping at the bit for the title, and the week after you're getting flatlined on the prelims of a fight night. It's just the dangers of this division. When you're that big, the KO power is unmeasurable, and that's the risk for Aspinall on Saturday night. Tom is a better, more well-rounded fighter. He's incredibly quick, he's got fantastic boxing and brilliant jiu-jitsu, but Pavlovich is massive. His finish rate is crazy. He's never seen a second round in the UFC, and he's never spoke to his corner between rounds. And I think that's where he's going to falter. If he can't get Aspinall out in the first, is he going to be able to make the adjustments needed for a complex fighter like Tom? Pavlovich's glaring issue is on the ground, and I can't imagine Tom is going to make this a stand-up war. But I do imagine he's watched Overeem versus Pavlovich on loop, and that's his path to victory. I'm going to go with a second round submission for Aspinall. He's going to get Pavlovich up against the cage, take him down and choke him out. But again, just like the main event, this fight can end at any point by either guy. Don't blink or you could miss this fight. Then we move on to Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. This is going to be Andrade's 5th fight this year. and she's lost her last 3. I just wish she'd take some time off. It cannot be good for her taking this many whoopings. I'm not sure why she's doing it. Perhaps she's trying to get out of her contract quickly, and if that's the case, she's doing a good job because she's going to get dropped real quickly. I can't imagine they're going to re-sign her if she loses another 4th fight in a row. But she's still young. She's only 32. She's got plenty of gas in the tank, but she needs to take it easy and rest up. Andrade is an excellent fighter, a former champion who finished Rose, but she's going on a real bad spell and got finished in her last 3 fights, 2 of those by submission, and Mackenzie Dern has plenty of submissions under her belt. She's also got the size advantage, and I don't see this going any other way but a submission for Dern. Of course, anything can happen, but it seems almost inevitable. Like I've said before, this is a very top-heavy card, but these 3 fights are going to be incredibly exciting. We could get 3 finishes in a row. Those have been my predictions for UFC 295. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help us out.